Hey everyone, it's Random Guy here again with another video. This is actually going to be one part of a multiple video series telling you all of the bossing unlocks that you should be getting to help you become a better bosser. So let's get into it. To start this off, I'm going to start with dungeoneering unlocks. Now I'm going to be putting these in order of what I would unlock these in. Now these are all just my opinions. If you don't agree with the order that I say, do what you think is best. This will vary depending on what bosses you do anyways. Another thing to know is that I will be assuming that you aren't a top tier bosser. Very first thing I would get is the Elite Dungeoneering Outfit Blueprint. It doesn't have anything to do with PvM, yet it is still first on my list. It costs 200,000 tokens. It's not hard to get, you just farm many bosses in the Elite Dungeons. I would get this first because owning the complete set gives you a 7% discount on everything else you buy within the Dungeoneering store. This will save you many hours of token grinding. The next would be the Elite Dungeon Upgrade. Now this does cost a massive 750k Dungeoneering tokens. Would I skip everything next on this list until I have this? Personally, yes. The 3 elite dungeons are amazing GP an hour and have people learning multiple aspects of PvM all at once, from solo target DPS to mob control. Right now, there are people having 200 mil hours at ED1, and ED3 has drops that are 800 mil to 1.2 bill. Amazing money for everyone, no matter what level of PvM you're at. ED2 has great drops too, they're just not on the same scale as ED1 and 3. They do have codexes, which are a couple hundred mil drops though. Anyways, what this perk does is it allows you to access your bank in the dungeons at the deposit chests. These chests are before every boss in all 3 dungeons. Also, maybe even more importantly, you don't have to have your chest toggled to not pick up your drops to get the 20% chance for your loot to be doubled. This can greatly increase your GP made an hour. Having this perk active at Ambassador, for example, in ED3 could completely change things. One Eldritch stock is 1.1 bill, doubled is 2.4. That's an extra 1.2 bill for no extra work. Now you could say, yeah, but I can always toggle the chest on and off. But how many times have you forgotten to do that? Is that a chance you're really willing to take? Is that chance worth 1.2 bill GP? But it's not just the boss drops. All the lucky charms used in the dungeon have a chance for the drops to be doubled. Actually, all drops can be doubled. That means more money per hour even if you don't hit the jackpot at a boss. The other reason this is first on the list is to make you more GP as you're token farming to get other unlocks. And the banking at the deposit chest means you don't have to teleport away and run back if you haven't finished the dungeon before. There are so many pros to getting this upgrade. Next on the list now might surprise you. Next up is the herbicide. Now before you judge me, let me explain. You can get this here for only 31k tokens. Now bosses all over RuneScape can drop unnoted herbs, like if you hit the rare drop table, who knows. Not only with bosses, but in general PvM. After upgrading it at the player-owned farms and using the herb bag, it'll save you so much inventory space while making it so you don't have to leave herbs on the ground. Yeah, it's only like 8k here and there, but that adds up. You won't be complaining when you go for 99 or 120 herb lore either. I know I didn't. Now this next one is actually 2 items, everyone's favorite combo, the Demon Horn Necklace and the Bone Crusher. The Bone Crusher will automatically bury every bone a monster drops as long as it is not noted, and a Demon Horn Necklace gives you prayer points for every bone buried. These 2 together can give you unlimited prayer in a lot of situations. And if you have an attuned ectoplasmator, this will work with monsters that drop ashes. Next is the Advanced Gold Accumulator. This costs a massive 1.5 mil tokens, or 1,395,000 if you have the discount. That skill set has already saved a couple hours here alone. Personally, I think this item spot on the list can go up or down. All that changes is how much you like to AFK when going for boss titles or pets, like at God Wars Dungeon 1 for example. Your loot tab will always be up and you can always collect it as drops without even moving. But if you want to 100% AFK it, and maybe work on an alt at the same time, who knows, or do some homework, whatever you got, then this would be really helpful. If this was a general PVM guide, this would be number 2 on the list, but since this is a bossing guide, it's a bit lower. It doesn't save you any inventory space like the herbicide does, since GP goes to your coin pouch. This is just a luxury. Alright, let's say you love doing elite dungeons like I do. Then your next 2 upgrades will be the Undead Slayer Codex and the Dragon Slayer Ability Codex blueprints. These will cost 100,000 tokens each. Since like 90% of ED2 is dragons and like 85% of ED3 is undead, this will increase your DPS by a metric ton. Definitely noticeable. Next is the Charming Imp. This guy collects charms for you and either puts them in your inventory for you or consumes them while giving you a little bit of summoning XP instead. This is literally just to keep your inventory clear. When switching weapons between dual wield and 2H for example, if you have a dual wield weapon on and your inventory space fills up with a charm, you can't change to your two-handed weapon because you have no space for this offhand weapon to go. Most of the time, PVMers forget that they even have a Charming Imp and just take it for granted, but if you don't have it, this could get you killed in some places or at least mess up your rotations. Alright, almost done with dungeoneering now. Next on the list is the Gem Bag and the Gem Bag upgrade. These don't cost too much at all, but will hold all the gem drops for you while bossing. For the same reason as the Herbicide and Herb Bag combo, I would use this to keep your inventory free of nuisance items while still making GP gains or slowly growing your stack of gems in your bank to help with your 99 crafting. The reason this is lower than the Herbicide is that there is no item that automatically picks up gems, unlike the Herbicide. A Gemicide would be a cool thing to have. RuneScape should make one of those. I'd buy it. Also, if I had to be anal about it, there are less kinds of gems than there are herbs, and they don't cost as much. Still, they do add up over time. Alright, so you've gotten all these upgrades, and you've done some bossing. Now you've gotten a little bit better at DPS. Maybe you've learned how to do DPS rotations well in an ultimate. So now instead of just surviving at bosses, you now care about kill speed. Well, alright, first up is the Ring of Vigor. This is a ring switch that you will use every time you use an ultimate ability. With this ring equipped, using an ultimate will no longer take all of your adrenaline, but it will leave you with 10%. This will help you get to your thresholds faster and let you get more of them off before your ultimate ends. This is an overall DPS increase and an amazing ring. So for the last item I got for you from the Dungeoneering store is the Spirit Cape. This cape reduces the cost to use the special moves of your familiars by 20%. The best part about it is that it's a passive effect, so this cape does not need to be worn to get the effect. Just put this on your cape rack in your player-owned house and forget about it. It will help you out so much while DPSing and save you money on potions to refill your familiar spec energy. Since I'm not going to talk about consumables like Lucky Charms because this is a video about bossing unlocks and you don't need to unlock those, and thus they don't meet the requirements to be on my list. But I do have an honorable mention that didn't make the list because it's completely optional, and it's all the items needed to make the upgraded blood necklaces. I have all 3 of them and I love them. They make God Wars Dungeon 1 completely AFKable while giving you a higher damage boost than the regular blood necklace. But the regular blood necklace is good enough to AFK. All they do is give you a little bit of a higher damage boost. If that's something you care about, then go for it. Well, that's it for the Dungeoneering store. So since I already talked about it, up next is the herb bag from the Herby Werby minigame. This item holds herbs for you instead of them filling up your inventory space. You can upgrade it to hold 100 herbs instead of 50. I would get the upgrade because it's awesome for general PVM, but how often do you go bossing and get 50 plus of one herb? So that's completely up to you. So now let's head over to the sweet old Granny Potterington at the Player Owned Farms. In her shop we got a lot of nice things. First I will say, I would not get the herbicide here. There's a reason why I put it in the Dungeoneering part. I would get it from the Dungeoneering store because it'll only take you like 10 minutes to get the Dungeoneering tokens to get it there. Meanwhile, it'll take you a little while to get the beans needed to buy it here if you're just starting out your farm. So for her shop, I would get the Seedicide and the Herbicide and Seedicide upgrades. Same as before, this is for keeping your inventory clear while making a little extra money. Now for the most important side of farming, which is sadly the side that is overlooked and unknown by a lot of new PVMers. What I'm talking about is the perks that you get from animals in your farms. Did you know that having an elder spider in one of your medium pens increases your overall damage to all spiders, including a Raxor and a Raxi, by 2%? If you have another elder spider in your second medium pen, this goes up to 3%. What about that amazing defense ability Barricade? It can be extended by 3.6 seconds by having one Malatops in both of your large pens in the Anachronia farms. That's 3.6 seconds more of being able to soul split your health back while being immune to all damage. This is almost mandatory at places like hard mode Carapac and high-end bossing. And for the last one, it's a bit niche, but having an Elder Corbiculo Rex in both of your large pens increases your crit chance while using Meteor Strike by a massive 40%. This is amazing at places like Twin Furies. Alright, now let's move on to the Shattered World shop. Bladed Dive is an amazing ability that will make you wonder how you ever played RuneScape before having it. Not only is it like an extra surge, but it's also an AoE attack when used on enemies. It checks all the boxes on things you want from an ability. Extra damage, faster movement. It makes elite dungeons so much faster. And another thing, PVM aside, it makes clues so much faster. Next is the Salt in the Wound ability. This ability increases in damage for every puncture stack you put on the boss, and it stacks up to 10 times. It's an awesome ability that will increase your range DPS by a nice amount. Now let's head all the way over to Wildy, to the Mage Arena. The whole reason you want to be here is to get the Gothic Staff. This is an amazing defense debuff on enemies while using magic. It's right up there with vulnerability. Now let's head all the way south to Alcarid. In the Dominion Tower, you get a lot of handy unlocks. Here we got Dread Nips that damage and stun enemies, and yes, you can use these while having a familiar. And then we got Dominion Mines. These don't work everywhere, but where they do work, they are worth their weight in gold. You can put down 2 at once, and each one will hit 20% of the monster's maximum HP, up to 10k damage per hit. That's free 20k extra damage. I love using these wherever I can. And lastly, we got the Spellcaster Gloves. When using magic, every auto attack and basic ability has a 5% chance to trigger these gloves' 3 passive effects. These effects are, it deals 25% more damage, but this does not work on bleeds. The next is it binds the target for 4.2 seconds, and the last, it lowers the boss's magic attack, strength, and defense by 7 levels. That's awesome. So that's all I'm going to talk about in this video. Part 2 will be coming out very soon. For all of you who stayed till the end, time for you to be rewarded with something other than knowledge. I know a lot of people have problems getting groups together to farm dungeoneering tokens and get everything they need. So if you need someone to go with you and get those tokens, ask me in the comments below. I will personally help you farm tokens to help you with your goals. Thank you everyone, and good luck on your farming. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Take care!